A coyote is causing a stir in a Bakersfield neighborhood after a story in the Bakersfield Californian detailed its seemingly tame life. 17's Jason Galvin joining us from the Oleander neighborhood just south of Bakersfield High School with the details. Jason?
Well, Jim, while this coyote might be causing a buzz for people who don't live in this neighborhood, the residents who do live here say this coyote's been roaming the streets for about 3 years. This video, taken by Nick Bellardis in May 2014, shows a coyote walking the streets of the Oleander neighborhood late at night. But residents in this community told me the animal has been interacting with them for more than 2 years. The residents did not want to speak on camera, saying they fear others may want to harm the seemingly tame coyote. But Carolyn DeNeo took this picture of the coyote in a neighbor's yard. DeNeo told me residents call the coyote Wiley. She says it first appeared as a pup and is friendly to residents and pets in the area, even going on walks with other dogs and eating breakfast with feral cats at one local residence. Vicki Monroe with Fish and Wildlife says the coyote appears to be tame and the department is content letting it live out its urban life.
We have the San Joaquin kit fox, and trapping it's just not permitted without special permit. So at this stage, really the main thing we're trying to do is just educate and outreach people and prevent this from becoming a public safety issue.
Monroe says if the coyote is not approached or cornered and does not become dependent on a food source at a residence, it should pose no harm to the public. Residents here said they hope their four-legged friend doesn't leave anytime soon. And now there have been reports, Vicki Monroe says, of people in the neighborhood that don't approve of this coyote for whatever reason, taking shots at it. I had a resident tell me earlier today that coyote actually was shot a couple of months ago. And Vicki Monroe says that is illegal. So if you live in the Oleander neighborhood and you hear or see the coyote shooting or somebody shooting at the coyote, you're urged to call 911 immediately. And I'm told just before I got here, that coyote actually walked around on the street right behind us. So everything the residents saying here proving to be true. Live in the Oleander neighborhood tonight, Jason Galvin, 17 News.
Coming up at 6, an update to a story we brought you at 5 of a coyote roaming the streets in the Oleander area.
Right after our live report, our cameras are rolling. Look, our cameras are rolling, and look who shows up.
Says, hey, you talking about me?
We'll be right back.
A new video just into our 17 newsroom following the story we brought you at 5 o'clock. A coyote caught on camera roaming a local neighborhood. Good evening and thanks for joining us here for 17 News at 6.
That is our top story here at 6 o'clock. After telling you about that coyote in the Oleander neighborhood in central Bakersfield at 5, well, he showed up right on cue. Somewhat of a news hound, I think this coyote is. Let's go back. 17's Jason Galvin with the details and a longer look at what we just saw. Jason.
Jim, I think Wiley, as the neighbors like to call it in the area here in Oleander, I think you heard us talking about him because, I mean, the second that we went off the air at 5, I no more than stepped out of my shot like I normally would, and my photographer, Sam, looked at me and goes, hey, look, and I turned around, and there it was. I mean, we didn't even have to go looking for it. He came to us. I want to show you guys the video that Sam got of that. It's pretty cool to see this coyote walking around like we talked about in 5. This coyote is tame. He's used to living in this neighborhood here in Oleander. The Department of Fish and Wildlife, Vicki Monroe, says that from what she can tell, it's lived here its entire life. It's 2.5 to 3 years old. It's a male coyote. Never had any problems reported with residents in the area. The residents that I talked to this afternoon didn't want to go on camera, but they all loved this coyote. Like I said, they named it Wiley. They feed it and give it water. It goes on walks with them and plays with their dogs, which we got to see a little bit of. It hopped a fence right in front of us, literally just cleared the fence like a hurdler in the Olympics, and then went back into a backyard and started playing with a neighbor's dog in the area. Now, Vicki Monroe did tell me that the one thing you don't want to do if you live in this neighborhood and you see this coyote is that you don't want to feed it because it's actually harmful for the animals to feed them. They need to learn to live on their own. And she also said, just let it be. You know, as long as you leave that coyote alone and you don't approach it, you don't corner it or be aggressive towards it at all, it's not going to be aggressive back towards you. They're not like wolves. They're not aggressive. They're not pack animals. It's just a coyote who, Vicki Monroe said, thinks it's a dog because it's grown up in this neighborhood with other dogs. So it's essentially a neighborhood pet here in Oleander. But we got it. You guys got to see it, and we're glad that we were here for that. Live in Oleander, Jason Galvin, 17 News.
All right. Thanks, Jason.